Shalom. Call Halal Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahweh Shai Bahasham Rakak Wadash. Double honors to the apostles, elders, and bishops of Great Millstone. Peace and salutations to the brothers who make their bodies a living sacrifice, going out to the highways and byways to make their calling and their election sure. Peace and salutations to hopefully elect. Through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Shai, I pray this lesson is edifying. We're coming up on, July 4th, which will bring this place we call America, all right, 250 years established in wickedness. And, scholars, can't agree, and they debate over what is America's role in end time prophecies, and if it's even mentioned in the scriptures. Now we here, that are in the know, that go out to the highways and byways and have been endowed with the spirit and the vision to see that America is indeed in the scriptures. And not only is it in the scriptures, but the Lord has pronounced judgment for it and has sent his prophets out to the gates of the nobles and to give our people warning, okay, for what's to come, right? We know this is Babylon the Great, Mystery Babylon, if you will, all right? And this article kind of goes into it, okay? So the question I posted was, is the United States the Mystery Babylon of Revelation? And, it kind of goes into it. It says, and this is the answer to the question, right? It says most interpretations of biblical prophecy including the book of Revelations, conclude that the United States plays no major role in end time events. Now that's false, okay? And they don't know that. And, those that suspect that, they're not 100% neither, okay? They're speculating, right? All right, and this is Amos 3:7. It says, surely the Lord power will do nothing, but he revealeth his secret unto his servants, the prophets, right? And the prophets indeed have the secrets of the Heavenly Father, okay? And that word mystery, okay, is synonymous with secrets, okay? It's for you to know something that the rest of the world, okay, or the rest of the population, even other Israelites don't know. That means you're in the inner circle of Yahweh Shem Shai's, deep secrets, man, his mysteries, right? And that's who the prophets are, the inner circle, okay, the elites of our people, all right? If you know this truth, if you understand and you hold fast to this truth, you're in the inner circle of Yahweh Shem Shai, or should I say the inner courts of the temple, right? It says, all agree that the USA is not explicitly uh, referenced? No, because it's not going to say America. America wasn't in existence back when the scriptures were written, so they didn't know what to call it. All right, and the descriptions that all the prophets used um, describe pretty much um, describe pretty much um, in a beast form, or form of a wicked kingdom. You know, it described different ways what that kingdom would look like, what America would look like. But when you look closely at what America is, what it has become, what it stands for, you will see that it measures up to all that they had said. All right. It says, all agree that the USA is not explicitly referenced. Eschatology, the study of the end times, is the subject of varied opinions. Okay, nearly every aspect of eschatology gives rise to alternate competing views. One idea gaining traction suggests that the United States is not only mentioned in Revelation, but that it occupies a key role. Some commentators see strong parallels between the modern USA and Mystery Babylon, and there you have it. Okay, because there are the parallels, meaning things that are described in the scriptures, um, describing Babylon the Great, are the very things that are happening here in, this United States, right? Which makes prophecy come to life for those that have eyes to see and ears to hear and the spirit to discern. Okay, and the Lord has given certain men that spirit. Okay, it says, or the whore of Babylon mentioned in Revelations 14, 17, and 18. Okay, and what's making this place a whore? Well, you got all these idols. Okay, different idols, these different gods that are worshipped here, right? And our people partake in it. Okay, this place has spread, itself across the planet, and right now it is the standard, okay, of of civilization right now, right? As scriptures say, the turning of things upside down um, shall be esteemed as the potter's clay, right? Well, there's a base man, the basis of man, the lowest form of man, which is Esau, Edom, okay, is in rulership. So things are upside down, and Jake is on the bottom. Okay, so the top men, okay, the cream of the crop, okay, the men that resemble, okay, by way of their customs, okay, their customs, their image, okay, their spirit, everything about them that resemble, the Most High and the Heavenly Father and His Son and the angels, okay, and the people of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, okay, they're on the bottom. They're looked at like servants, less than a dog, okay, and the actual beasts, okay, the ones that resemble the beasts, have no order, have no, similitude of the Most High. They're in power. So things are upside down, man. Okay. And that's who you see on top. They're ruling right now. So of course it's not going to look um, the way it should right now. And anybody that has the spirit to see that this man is the basis of men and he's in power, they're gonna realize that he can't be the image of Yahweh Shemel Shai, right? It says keys to this interpretation are changes in American culture. Okay, and that American culture has spread itself throughout the four corners of the earth. Right? It says the United States have become increasingly comfortable with unbiblical attitudes towards sex and materialism. All right, and you see that the sexual nature of this place is perverted, highly perverted, man on man, women on women, man on children, PDFs, you know, bestiality, you know, just rampant, um, you know, uh, uh, um, sexual perversions, man. Sodomy is at an all-time high right now, and it's legal through the law for two men to be wed together, two women to be wed together. That don't produce nothing but death. Okay, and through law, okay, that's allowed. So that's why this man's, um, kingdom is Babylon. Mystery Babylon. Okay, it says recently. It seems as if sin is not merely tolerated but celebrated. Exactamundo. It's celebrated, man. Gay pride, gay, uh, uh, um, you know, Pride Week. Even our women champion, the idea of sodomy. You know, I was just watching a video of how a woman was saying, Eve was saying how, it's portrayed that, Jake is a sodomite, but the biggest sodomites really the lesbians. You know what I'm saying? She's got a bunch of friends that sleep with each other and lick each other's cats and walk around like nothing happened. They go on these vacations, these trips, and they end up getting into the bed with each other when they've been drinking, and there's no men around. Okay, it says, given its cornerstone uh, position in world politics and economics, the U.S. begins to look like the powerhouse system depicted in Revelations, right? It says those who identify the United States as Mystery Babylon see parallels, okay, between the U.S. and the details of Revelations chapter 17 and 18. Okay, and then it starts to go into it, right? It says the U.S. is renowned for blending many cultures and people groups. It touches both the world's two major oceans, right? Okay, you know, you got the Atlantic Ocean and the Pacific Ocean, and a couple seas and gulfs that this place, but the U.S. is the central hub for the world right now. It influences every other culture, right? And adopts every other culture, absorbs every other culture, because what? This is the melting pot, if you will, right? And we can go into that. Was it Revelation 17? All right, 17 and 1. It says the day of the doom of Babylon. It says, and there came one of the seven angels which had the seven veils and talked with me, saying, uh, unto me, come hither. I will shew unto thee the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters. Right. And, really see what it says. Okay. It's really just basically going into how America has, um, influence all over the world, man. You know, stealing other people's cultures and you know, portraying like they're the people. All peoples really. You know, when the scriptures tell you Jake is the form of all things, right? They want to be the Greeks. They want to be the Parthian, Parthians. They want to be the Europeans. They want to be the native Indians. They want to be all peoples, man. They want to hijack everybody's culture but their own. Why? Because their um, identity, their biblical identity, is what they're running from. Because with their biblical identity, they have to face that judgment too. All right. It says, and it says, uh, okay, Revelations 17 and 15. Let's see what that says. Revelation 17 and 15. It says, and he saith unto me, the waters which thou sawest were the where the whore sitteth are peoples and multitudes and nations and tongues. Right? So this is many different peoples, cultures, okay, many different regions. You see, you know, they're right now they're at war with Iran, okay. They have military bases all through the Middle East, all throughout the world, man. You know, 200 and whatever plus um um you know embassies in different countries, man. They're stealing oil. They're stealing. They stole Venezuela's oil. And that's their motto, man. Steal, kill, and destroy, man. You know. Uh, Micah 2 and 2. It says, and they covered fields, right? They covered land. Okay, I'm reading the NLT. It says, when you want a piece of land, you find a way to seize it, right? Sometimes they set fire to it, right? Sometimes they come with their military operations, and in the name of what? Democracy, right? Okay, they talking about they want to free the people because their rulers, the rulers of that land is you know performing genocide on the people, right? But meanwhile, in his own backyard, he's murdering Jake by the millions, by the thousands, daily. Putting poison in their food. The air. you know, all kinds of things, man. He's performing a death sentence to Jake on the daily, man. And his citizens are, also, right? It says when you want someone's house, you take it by fraud and violence. Ooh, right? You know, they had these propaganda machines, okay, like they did uh, Saddam, you know what I'm saying? Nicolas Maduro, you know, right? And they use their television, right? Their media machine to build up resentment and hate for that leader. Okay, that's what they did in 9/11, right? And get the people on their side, right? It says, you take it by fraud and violence. You cheat a man out of his property, stealing his family's inheritance. Woo! Ain't that what they did to the natives? Okay, came here, you know, and oppressed them on their own land, right? They were here first. But now you celebrating, uh, you know, your birthday of stealing this land, right? Let's go back to the article real quick, and I'll see. I might have to do a part 2 or 3 to this, but you know, um, America is Babylon the Great. All right, and Lord willing, this is edifying. Till next time, I say shalom.